Today on JRA TV, we talk about radios. What is up, guys? It's Noble here from Jolly Roger Airsoft, and today we are going to be talking about radio protocol for a casual operation. Now, many of you have probably seen our video on radio protocol in our tactics series, which can be found here. But today we're going to be addressing a more casual protocol for the operations like Operation Reclamation, Tim versus Bob, most battle hack operations, that kind of thing. And they're not formally structured Milsim games, but you still have some radio protocol or etiquette you should apply to, make life easier on both your commanders and anyone you're trying to lead.
Hey, you want any harmony, Josh?
If you haven't heard, Operation Reclamation 3 will be at X Zone in Chesterfield, Virginia, May 18th. The British are going to go for the sweep here, and we may have to vanquish Bob to do so, and that's okay. So yeah, get your tickets at Airsoft GI if you want to go. We will be there, and it'll be a blast. So looking forward to that, May 18th at X Zone.
That's cool.
Now, the difference between these casual operations and Milsim operations is in a Milsim operation, you are going to have people strictly organized into squads, fire teams, platoons, whatever, and they're all going to have their chain of command with their proper radios and things like that. It'll be more organized and more structured. Therefore, you can use most of those radio protocols efficiently and effectively. Now, in a game like Reclamation or Tim vs. Bob, a more casual game, it's harder because everybody doesn't have a specific call sign. Most of the time, the squads or companies or whatever they're calling them, the groups that they put you in, they disintegrate very fast. And usually it's just small bands of people going against each other, being pushed by certain leaders in the group. So when you're talking on the radio in that kind of environment, you're not going to be able to observe most of the formalities of the official radio protocol. But you should also stay away from cluttering it up, unnecessarily using it, that kind of thing. So, we're going to jump right in and go over the do's and don'ts real quick. So, in these kinds of casual games, the commanders are really using it as a way to talk to their squad leaders or the people in the crowd who are pushing the people. So, while you may not stay with your squad the whole time, there's probably a squad leader around you with a radio who can get in touch to the commanders. Now, the commanders can issue orders that way, and it's not the most efficient thing in the world, but it's better than nothing, and it does help them to get a sense of the battlefield. Anyone with a radio can then radio in when they're being engaged, that kind of thing. So it's more used as a overview tool, and you kind of push in ways you can. But it is much harder in these casual games to use radios effectively, just because a lot of people have them, and a lot of people use them for different things, and it gets very difficult to manage well.
It's all Joe's fault.
In this chaotic environment, there are things that need to be passed up the chain of command and things that don't. And remember, you're talking directly to the commander. So if the commander doesn't need to know, then do you really need to say it? That's the question you have to ask yourself. There are a few things that they really need to know. Say you're in the rear and you see a big enemy squad coming. You need to get on the radio and tell them that. There's a bunch of bad guys here in our rear. We need help over here. So that's one thing. If you're losing an objective, that's another thing. Advise, that's the word. You want to advise them of that. Advise them when you're losing an objective or a key point. Don't advise them every time you move 20 feet to the left or right. They don't really care that much as long as you're getting the basic directions together. So, also, radio in whenever you have captured an objective or secured a secondary objective or stuff like that. Make sure they are kept abreast of that so they know the situation on the field. Most of the time, they're not going to know exactly where you are, and it's difficult to call for a sit rep when the squads get so mangled up like they tend to do at these games. So you have to keep that in mind. But just use the radio to tell them when there are strategic threats, things you don't want to do on this casual radio net, or you don't want to call for your squad. If you have a radio or get someone with a radio, don't ask where your squad is. They probably do not know. This happened a lot of Reclamation, and I know that's kind of what the point was, But by the end, the squads were so messed up anyway, it didn't really matter. So if you lose your squad, don't worry about it. Just keep fighting with the people who are around you. It's going to happen, and after the fight, you can try and find them. But, you know, don't use the radio, the official radio net for that purpose. Also, don't curse or swear on the radio net. It's unprofessional, and it's unprofessional on any radio net. And just don't do it because it gives a bad image, and people might be listening in on it. You never know what's going on. So never curse or swear on the radio net. Also, jokes are usually frowned upon on the radio net. So stay away from those kind of things. Remember, this is a tool for the commanders to use for the people, not for you to tell your jokes to all your friends. So keep communication with your friends to a minimum on the radio, especially on the team chat. If you want to get on your separate net, go ahead and do that. But don't use the command net to talk to each other.
Fashion, man.
Finally, respect all the commander's orders. If the command staff tells you to clear the radio channels, that means don't talk on the radio. I say that again. If they say clear comms, don't talk on the radio. Okay, clear comms means don't talk on the radio. Keep it clear so that the commander can give you orders or can see incoming orders clearly. If they want it clear, there's probably a reason, so listen. Whenever people in charge tell you to get off the radio, get off the radio. Don't fight, don't worry about it. Just listen to them, get off the radio. You need to help your team more than you need to chat with your friends or find your squad or stuff like that. So use the radio for strategic purposes and use it wisely. Make sure that the commanders need to know the information you're sending up. And so you're not cluttering it up with useless junk. By the end of the day, at most of these things, the radios aren't used because they are cluttered with so much junk.
You know you kind of owe me.
Alright, so that'll do it for this episode of Jolly Roger Airsoft. Hope this helps. I may make this because Reclamation is coming up, and I know there's going to be a lot of people with radios, and I hope we can use them very effectively, especially on the British side. If you're American, feel free to not listen and just do whatever you want, because this only applies to British people. So, thank you for watching, and we will have some more cool stuff coming down the pipe here shortly. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, and yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Happy hunting.
That was good.